Henry Ford is a name synonymous with innovation, but as we peel back the layers of history, we discover a narrative far more complex and intriguing than the glossy pages of success. Hey there, welcome to Riching Your Life. Today, we have a captivating episode that delves deep into the life of one of the most influential figures in automotive history, Henry Ford. Buckle up, because we're about to reveal the startling reality behind the man who revolutionized the automotive industry. Henry Ford, the visionary behind the assembly line and founder of Ford Motor Company, is often celebrated as a hero of innovation. However, there's more to his story than meets the eye. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join us on this fascinating journey into the past. The story begins in Springwells Township, Wayne County, Michigan, on 30th of July, 1863, when Henry was the firstborn of William and Mary Ford's 6 children. Growing up on a prosperous family farm, he was educated in a one-room school where he showed an early interest in all things mechanical. This interest would develop into true genius and earn him the accolade of one of the greatest industrialists in the world. Henry Ford started young. By the age of 12, he was spending most of his spare time in a small machine shop, which he had equipped himself with. It was here that he constructed his first steam engine in 1878, aged just 15. The next year, Henry left home, bound for the nearby city of Detroit to work as an apprentice machinist. In 1888, he married Clara Bryant, who had grown up on a nearby farm. In the first several years of their marriage, Ford supported himself and his new wife by running a sawmill. In 1891, he returned with Clara to Detroit, where he was hired as an engineer for the Edison Illuminating Company. Rising quickly through the ranks, he was promoted to chief engineer 2 years later. Around the same time, Clara gave birth to the couple's only son, Edsel Bryant Ford. On call 24 hours a day for his job at Edison, Ford spent his irregular hours on his efforts to build a gasoline-powered horseless carriage, or automobile. In 1896, he completed what he called the quadricycle, which consisted of a light metal frame fitted with 4 bicycle wheels and powered by a 2-cylinder, 4-horsepower gasoline engine. Determined to improve upon his prototype, Ford sold the quadricycle to continue building other vehicles. He received backing from various investors over the next 7 years, some of whom formed the Detroit Automobile Company, later the Henry Ford Company in 1899. His partners, eager to put a passenger car on the market, grew frustrated with Ford's constant need to improve, and Ford left his namesake company in 1902. The following year, Ford established the Ford Motor Company. A month after the Ford Motor Company was established, the first Ford car, the 2-cylinder, 8-horsepower Model A, was assembled at a plant on Mack Avenue in Detroit. At the time, only a few cars were assembled per day, and groups of 2 or 3 workers built them by hand from parts that were ordered from other companies. Ford was dedicated to the production of an efficient and reliable automobile that would be affordable for everyone. The result was the Model T, which made its debut in October 1908. The Model T, also known as the Tin Lizzie, was a success for Ford Motor Company, leading to the implementation of mass production techniques. This led to reduced production time, lower costs, and increased wages for workers. By 1918, half of all cars in America were Model Ts. Ford's son Edsel became president in 1919, but he retained control of the company's operations. After a court battle with minority stockholders, Henry Ford bought out all by 1920. In 1927, Ford moved production to a massive industrial complex in Dearborn, Michigan, which included a glass factory, steel mill, and assembly line. In that year, Ford stopped production of the Model T and introduced the new Model A, making it the largest automotive manufacturer worldwide. The Model A proved to be a relative disappointment and was outsold by both Chevrolet and Plymouth. It was discontinued in 1931. In 1932, Ford introduced the first V8 engine, but by 1936, the company had dropped to number 3 in sales in the automotive industry. Despite his progressive policies regarding the minimum wage, Ford fought against unionization of labor. refusing to come to terms with the United Automobile Workers even after his competitors did so. In 1937, Ford security staff clashed with UAW organizers in the so-called Battle of the Overpass at the Rouge plant, after which the National Labor Relations Board ordered Ford to stop interfering with union organizations. Ford Motor Company signed its first contract with UAW in 1941, but not before Henry Ford considered shutting down the company to avoid it. But the startling reality doesn't end there. Henry Ford held controversial beliefs that often overshadowed his contributions. Ford's political views earned him widespread criticism over the years, beginning with his campaign against U.S. involvement in World War I. He made a failed bid for a U.S. Senate seat in 1918, narrowly losing in a campaign marked by personal attacks from his opponent. In the Dearborn Independent, a local newspaper he bought in 1918, Ford published a number of anti-Semitic writings that were collected and published as a 4-volume set called The International Jew. Though he later renounced the writings and sold the paper, he expressed admiration for Adolf Hitler and Germany, and in 1938 accepted the Grand Cross of the German Eagle, the Nazi regime's highest medal for a foreigner. Edsel Ford died in 1943, and Henry Ford returned to the presidency of Ford Motor Company briefly before handing it over to his grandson, Henry Ford II, in 1945. He died 2 years later at his Dearborn home, at the age of 83. Despite the controversies, Ford's impact on the automotive industry cannot be denied. His legacy continues to shape the way we live and work today. Henry Ford was undoubtedly a complex figure, with both revolutionary ideas and deeply flawed beliefs. As we celebrate his contributions, let's also acknowledge the lessons we can learn from the man behind the machine. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the startling reality of Henry Ford. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more intriguing content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.